So hello and welcome to my series on building a computer. And this first episode is just going to be about your options. The series is going to be focused on building a computer, but we're going to talk about the options of buying a computer. And the first one is a Mac, and there are pros and cons with this, of course, like any choice. They have very nice designs. I think everybody can agree with that. The nice, clean design of a Mac is very appealing to most people. They have very good support. If you have a problem, they have stores everywhere. You bring it in. Sometimes they can fix it in store. Sometimes they can't. But that's just depends on your problem. Usually they can fix it in store. They're kind of like a fashion symbol or popular. You have a Mac, like cool kids have a Mac. It's kind of the way it is socially. They're linked with other Apple products. So if you have an iPhone, an iPod Touch, iPad, they're all linked together. They work together very nicely, and it gives you some big advantages when it comes to working with one or two of those devices, or maybe all three. It's very easy to upgrade software. They have an app store. You can just buy the latest OS. In this case, it's OS Mountain Lion that you can just buy. It's really not that hard to install. Of course, with Windows, it's significantly more difficult. And sometimes, depending on which one it is, they're pretty easily upgradable. Like the Mac Mini, you just twist off the bottom. You can add in more RAM. If you didn't get it in the first place, like if you need more, let's say whatever the next OS is, you need more RAM, then you can just throw in more RAM. It's really not that more difficult, and you didn't want to spend the extra, $300 or what it was to get the extra RAM. But of course, it does come with some cons. They are priced fairly high. They don't have a lot of high performance parts in there. But they are priced like they have extremely high performance parts in there. And that's just what you get for, going with something that's different from the norm. With Windows, it's easier to be cheaper, but everything here is custom designed to run with this OS. And that makes it significantly more difficult to build, not only, but also to work with. And also, it's not very developer friendly. Yes, you can develop apps for the for products like the iPhone and the iPod and any of those devices and the Mac. But going out of that, it's not as easy. If you want to do web development, game design, it's not as easy. The programs just aren't as available as they are on PC. And it just comes down to it. Next, we're going to talk about just a pre-built PC. At the moment, my personal favorite company is Toshiba, just because they have a wide range selection from gaming laptops to just work laptops, which you can use. And they're also, some of the pros are they're cheap, something the Mac does not have. They are upgradable, but with laptops, they are harder to upgrade. Just because there's more to take apart. Also, Macs are significantly harder to take apart usually. And also, but with desktops, not only from other companies, are much easier to upgrade because everything is built around Windows. And that one runs pretty nicely. Also, it's going to be a lot easier to game. It's just the games run. Most of them are programmed for PC. They launch on PC. There are not a lot of games, and that just comes down to it. It's much more developer friendly. If you're trying to program, if you're trying to do web development, any sort of programming, it's going to be a lot easier for you. It's also the globally accepted standards. Most people are going to have a Mac. Generally, schools are going to have Macs. If you go to a place where they're going to have like a library, they're not going to have Macs. They're going to have PCs. then it's just much easier to transfer data between them and work between a PC and a PC than working with a Mac and a PC, even though they have made strides to make that more effective. Some of the cons are they're not very reliable, but with a company like Toshiba, UPS actually does the repairs, and it makes it a lot easier on you, and they generally get pretty they get the computer back to you pretty quickly. So within a week, so you're not off your feet for very long. But with other companies, of course, that support and reliability of computers is not always there. I wouldn't go with a company like Dell, even though they are a big brand name. And finally, what this series is about is building a computer. And you're going to want, for choosing parts, you're going to want to go to Newegg, and they have this great computer hardware section. You can just go here, and you can give you everything from CPUs, computer cases, motherboards, everything you could possibly need. And why you do this over a pre-built is it's going to be cheaper. Just comes down to it. You don't have to pay someone else to assemble it for you. You don't have to pay for a robot to put it together, in some cases with some of these factories. It's also much more customizable. If, let's say, you don't need 8 gigs of RAM, but they only offer 8 gigs of RAM, you don't need to spend that money. You don't need, if you don't want, a certain graphics card in that you want to go with a different company's graphics card, then you can throw that in there. If you want a faster processor that they don't, that a company like Toshiba doesn't offer, you can always get that. And there's just so much more customizability. Also, coming down to the cases, you can add blue LEDs, make it really pop, make it very aesthetically pleasing like a Mac is, very flashy. They're also very upgradable. Since you built it, you know your way around it. And this allows you can throw in another graphics card if you want to get better performance on games. It is a very good, generally people who build computers build it for gaming. They don't build it for word processing, even though you can do that and you can be quite effective. But it all comes down to your technical experience. I can teach you what parts to choose, how to put it together, but if something fails, you need to be able to identify what that problem is. And I can answer questions, you can send me messages, but it just comes down to you whether or not you feel you're ready to take the step from buying from a company like Toshiba to buying the parts and putting it together. Because there is no tech support. A part can break and you can send it in if it's within the warranty, but besides that, there is no tech support. They come with manuals, and that's pretty much just your tech support. And that's the big thing that's a big con with building your computer. It's just it all comes down on you, and some people aren't ready for that. I'm assuming if you're researching it, you are ready. I had a negative experience with my first computer build, but my second computer build was a lot smoother, just because of the things I learned a lot from my first build, which I will transfer on to you guys during this series. So I'd like to thank you for watching the first part, and please watch the next episode.